Welcome to this special MGAA Conversations BIBA podcast. And I'm delighted to welcome a panel of valued members who are partnering this year with the MGAA at BIBA. Gentlemen, a very good afternoon. If I could ask you all to introduce yourselves, please, and talk a little bit about your business, that would be fantastic for our listeners. So, John, if I could come to you first.
Sure. Thanks, Mike. Thanks for inviting us on the podcast. It's great to be on. I sort of always assume that people know who we are, which is probably a big mistake. But for people that don't, PKF is a global accounting network. We've got representation in about 150 countries. I did a quick adding up. We've got about 30,000 people if you add it all together. I guess more interestingly for this podcast is our insurance capability in the UK. So we can cover the whole of the UK. The insurance team is pretty much centred in London, but we've got a team in Manchester and Leeds. The core objective, I guess, across everything that we do is kind of supporting our insurance clients to grow and succeed, and that's always been, the same objective that the team's had from before my time. And I guess in terms of our objective, we're aiming still to be the insurance professional services accounting advisor of choice, primarily for teams that are looking to go places, who are ambitious, whether it's a brand new MGA who's just somebody looking to set up a brand new MGA, breaking out of another team, or through to large global groups. So we're very happy to talk to any business of any scale to see whether we can help them achieve their objectives. That's what we're all about.
Okay, thanks, John. And Andy, welcome.
Yeah, thanks for having us, Mike. Good to see you all. Yeah, it's slightly different to John. A lot of people don't know who we are. So I'm founder of a small privately owned MGA, Corin Underwriting. We specialise in high hazard liability in both UK and Ireland. That's what I've done myself. So I have the sort of head of underwriting function, and it's a business built around the underwriting of contractor-led risks. We try and champion a sort of virtual insurer model. We love the virtual insurer MGA model. What does that mean for us? Really, it's keeping all those key functions in-house, trying to operate, trade and think like an insurer, the agent of the insurer, let the brokers take up that responsibility, the agent and the insured, and hopefully we sort of somehow meet in the middle. We have a number of exclusive evergreen long-term agreements with our capacity, and we roll out a sort of Corin branded product on those high hazard trades. Most recently, we sort of wrap that up in a performance assessment with AM Best. So we hold a PA2, which is very similar to an insurer rating, but dedicated for MGAs. I thought that was important, being privately owned and not having the sort of visibility as others, not being part of a big group. It gave us that independent validation, I suppose, of what we're trying to do. And I said, really, our main objective is just keep doing what we do and do it well, and hopefully we sort of grow organically. Obviously, at the moment we're navigating like others through quite a soft market, but that brings its own challenges. I think if we remain disciplined over the next sort of 12, 18 months, we can stick to that sort of organic objective of growing and just becoming hopefully a household name in what we do for serving our brokers.
Okay, fantastic. Thanks for sharing that. And Richard, welcome.
Yeah, thanks, Mike. Thanks for inviting me. I'm with Unicorn Underwriting. We've been operating in the UK now for 10 years. We have a fleet division and an SME division. I work for the SME division, which has been running for 8 years. I'm the business development director. Unicorn are part of Amwins International Underwriting, so we're wholly owned by Amwins, who kind of host us and look after our non-underwriting activities, they're a great host to have. So they look after all our finance and HR and compliance and that kind of stuff to let us get on with what we do best, which is underwriting. Our current strategy is to carry on growing. We've been growing. We've been making profits for our carriers for the last 8 years on the SME side. And our main aim, basically, best way of growing is to sign up more brokers. So we need to try and increase our visibility and sign up more and more UK brokers that have controlled portfolios that fit our underwriting appetite.
Okay, thank you very much. And David, completing our sort of esteemed panel, welcome. So please share us about your business, if you may.
Well, thank you, Mike. I was checking the other day, and I think John would be aware of this, that we are now in our 14th year of trading. I guess we call ourselves an incubator, but the regulator would call us a regulatory host. We're a firm that allows startups and existing firms to access both the UK and the EU marketplace via our branches in Brussels and Brno in the Czech Republic, and obviously in London in the UK. We probably launched 60 projects over that period, all of which have gone on to trade successfully, and we're probably looking after 30 firms right now. So our goal in our current objective in becoming part of this podcast is to grow the number of MGAs, MDUs and brokers who are using our UK and EU network.
Okay, so look, fantastic. Thanks very much, gentlemen. Sort of a real cross-section of sort of individuals representing firms in the, what is, as we all know, the thriving MGA sector. So just turn into, this special BIBA podcast. And perhaps if I can come back to you, David. Now, I think Graham's Trudgill's numbers for 2025, and I always suspect Graham might count them in himself, actually, I think was something in the region of 9,918. I'm sure he'll text me and correct me, but obviously fantastic event, obviously starts now on a Tuesday, which in my lifetime never used to start on the Tuesday, but now does and goes through to Thursday. So if I come to you, David, first, given that sort of broker audience and given what you've shared sort of around, your business objectives in terms of Bluefriars, what are you really looking to sort of achieve in Manchester in May?
Well, thanks again, Mike. What BIBA represents to us is a fantastic pool of innovators and entrepreneurs. And I mean, we're lucky today also in Andy and Richard to have some entrepreneurs on our panel. And we tend to attend BIBA. We'll be there for the entire period, and we'll be flying in from the new European MGA forum that's preceding it. And we'll be there for the entire period with our team on the ground to be out and about and talking to those innovators and entrepreneurs. It's a key time in our marketplace. MGAs continue to be a developing and growing space, and I think whilst we've had some mention of the soft market, perhaps we don't see that as a barrier. I think the situation for MGAs is they can continue to grow. The multiples are good, and we're keen to make some contacts while we're there, Mike.
Excellent. And Richard, coming to you, you obviously shared, strategically the opportunity to extend your distribution. What's your, on top of that, what's your other objectives in terms of over the course of the 2.5 days or so in Manchester?
I think that is actually the main objective. That's the whole point. Us going to BIBA, it's the best place to meet a large amount of brokers in a very short period of time. So we want to catch up with any of our existing brokers, but like I said earlier, we want to sign up more new brokers, and we hope that being on the stand gives us great visibility. It's a great location at the event. People will know where we are. We're telling everyone where we're going to be beforehand. And we want people to know we just switched carriers actually from 1st of March. Our main SME binder is now with AXA, and we want everyone to know that because it's a great name to have on board. And like I said, the stand, fantastic visibility. Last year I went as a delegate, didn't have a stand. I spent 2 days walking around, hoping to bump into people, looking at people's name tags, trying to work out who they are, who they work for, and could I have a conversation with them, grab them for a coffee or something. But it doesn't really work when you haven't got a stand or a presence. So that's why last year I turned up at the MGAA stand and said, I want to be here next year. What do I need to do about it? And luckily I've got in, so that's great news.
Well, I'm encouraged you spoke to one of my team who would be able to give you that information, because if you'd asked me, I would have been particularly hopeless on doing that. I would have thought. So you spoke to the right person, Richard. Anyway, so that's good. Yeah. And Andy, you're obviously operating in a quite a niche sector from that perspective. So in terms of what you've shared on that liability, so what would you be looking to sort of look to get out of the BIBA conference?
Yes, look, we really like BIBA. We think it's a great event. It's sort of the annual pilgrimage, isn't it, to Manchester now? We've done many over the years. I think we've exhibited with you guys now for 5 or 6 years, and that stand gives us a great base. We're always trying to be present. I think the exhibition hall's great for that, arranging some meetings, catching up as usual with people. We also like, what I think is good about our industry is you can also be next to competition, or the stand opposite could be so, and we all sort of share anecdotes and where the market is, and I sort of think that's great. But this year, one of our objectives is to sort of bring on the next gen. So I think sort of working from home and in COVID, not a lot of our younger underwriters, new underwriters, have got much exposure to the market, and we're sort of going through a bit of at our last event, the broker exchange, we were there quite a few of us, yeah. And we're sort of handing over the baton. That's what we're spending this sort of year doing, and making sure we can really, going forward, I'd rather the future are at the exhibition, people that are on the phones, people that the brokers talk to. So we're hoping to really encourage the next gen to not only be present in the exhibition hall, and we're there to see brokers, new brokers, existing brokers, but also to make sure they explore the fringe events and listen to speakers. And there's a lot on outside the exhibition hall, isn't there, for more, and that would be more gain internally. I think, we're all probably in agreement. We're there to talk to brokers, reach out to those brokers and see if we can get some more business, or just reinforce some existing relationships. But I think internally, it's a great event and a great exhibition for my guys to go and see what else is happening. What else are people talking about? There's some good fringe events. I know a few of them already want to see Peter Crouch and see how he talks. And I think really just be present. I think often, sometimes you look at BIBA, don't you, and the people that aren't there get talked about more of why they're not there. Yeah. I think it's just one of those events that you should be there, but not just take it for that. And you say we're really keen on getting everyone involved this year. And so hopefully you'll see a few new faces, Mike, and can introduce us some new members of the team.
That's great. So just before I go to John, if I just pivot back. So in terms of, have you got any new sort of staff who would be their first BIBA? And if so, are you giving them a do's and don'ts and a sort of pamphlet about the pitfalls of those people who, I think most of us here have been to BIBA many times, but I remember the first time I went, and I think I got caught out at some point. So
yeah. 100%. Yeah, we have got someone. We've got some people there. That's their first exhibition. Yeah, it's not a stag do. It is an exhibition. So we have to make sure we get an early night. Yeah, there's definitely some do's and don'ts, but we all fell for those traps. And I think it's probably my 20th BIBA, and I think making sure that we go to the right fringe events and stick to the brief. But first and foremost, we want them to have fun. I think that's what BIBA's about, isn't it? You see it with stands now. They're good fun. There's good people there. There's good fringe events, good entertainment, and so hopefully they can reinforce where they are in their career and where they are in the industry, but also have a bit of fun doing it. That
absolutely great. And John,
I won't be out. They won't see me out too late. not anymore.
And John, from through your lens, what are you hoping to achieve at BIBA? I know you're quite a veteran of the BIBA thing as well, aren't you?
Yeah. I can't remember how many years it's been, but I do remember the first one going. I didn't know anybody, and I was on my own, and a few very friendly people who've remained friends helped us out, navigating around the exhibition and introductions and things like that. So that was great. But that's an example. It's a pretty friendly environment. Learnt my lessons that year as well, what to do, what not to do. But I think for us, I guess there's so many people there that are part of the wider insurance community. So you've got, the carriers are there, investors are there, from our other advisors are there. So, we can end up sort of having a full day of meetings quite easily. But then it's also great just wandering around and seeing what's new and meeting new people, seeing what's going on, seeing who's got the weirdest stand or the best stand. It's always quite fun just seeing what strange kind of entertainment's going on. And we take it quite seriously. I think there's going to be 10 of us there this year. We've got a stand. We're obviously sponsoring the MGAA drinks as well. So but it's just so many people are there that it's great seeing everybody in one place and getting, you can sometimes get a meeting with somebody that you wouldn't normally get a meeting with because they're there and present. So it's great.
Yeah, and just before I go on to the last couple of themes, gentlemen, can I just ask you just to give, I throw it open to all four, what's your view of what's the health of the broker sector currently? Anyone want to pick that up? What I know we're in a soft market conditions, but what, are you encouraged in terms of the broker community? Obviously, Graham and his team do a great job. Are you seeing real sort of innovation coming through from the broker side? What's your general sense around the broker community in direction of travel? Who'd like to pick that up first?
Shall I?
Yeah, go on, David. Yeah.
Well, obviously we see business plans for new launches on a regular basis. We still are having, we're quite selected, but we're having quite a few walk across our door every month. We're reviewing those. When you sort of sorted them out, there's some great innovation in there. There's people who are seeking to expand markets. We're working, obviously we're getting quite a lot in the parametric space right now, which is developing rapidly. We're seeing quite a lot of insurtech led offers, and we're still seeing some quite traditional stuff. So the sector's certainly healthy. I think I'd like to see, and we are seeing some of this coming through, a little bit more new capacity becoming available, and we have made contact with a couple of new launches recently. But provided the broker sector continues innovating, then I think, to a certain extent, if without wishing to paraphrase a famous movie, if the broker sector continues to build these offers, then the capacity will follow because the investment opportunity is there.
Okay. Any other observation, gents, on the health of the broker community?
I think we've probably noticed brokers becoming more kind of tech friendly over the last 10 years. Most of our business is done through our own portal, which we've built. And early days, brokers were a bit slow to adopt that, and they didn't like the fact that they had to key in the data because they may have been keying into other MGA portals or Actress or others like that. But over the last couple of years, brokers doesn't seem to bother them as much as it did. Our portal is quite slick, so they can get quotes out quite quickly, which always helps. But our business model is for brokers to self-serve. So we're pleased that a lot more brokers are able to do that now than previously.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah. I think that the brokers are in a really good place. I think, just pulling it back to BIBA, I think what's interesting at BIBA is that we know there's an industry where there's been a lot of M&A. We know that it's still a relationship business, and what we like at BIBA is you get a lot of different account execs, a lot of people that you might not generally talk to day in, day out, because we are all behind systems and we are all looking at that sort of to introduce that insurtech to our businesses. And what I like about BIBA and with the broker community is you get to speak to a lot of account execs that may be part of a bigger group, and I think that really works because ultimately we are still a business that centres mainly around the relationships you have with your brokers, insurers, reinsurers, business partners, and that's what I think's really interesting at BIBA.
That's good. John, any sentiments on that?
Yeah, I think a couple of things, I guess, from just picking up what David was saying. So from a sort of startup and new business perspective, I think we're probably seeing more new MGAs versus brokers.
Yeah.
But both, but more MGAs. The sort of focusing on the brokers and the ones we're seeing coming through seem to be able to get traction and funding quite quickly, and they're growing and attracting new members of the team pretty quickly as well. So I think there's appetite for both funding of new startups on the broking side, but also there seem to be plenty of people willing to move around in terms of building out a new broking business, which is pretty exciting. I mean, it's against the backdrop we talked about the rates earlier, and then I guess at a wider perspective on that MGA and broking side and the carrier side as well, there definitely seems to be continuing interest in funding new projects, which is an indicator of the health of the sector. It's relative health or the absolute health of the sector. It's still really positive from that point of view.
Okay, well, great. Well, I appreciate your feedback on that. I think it's a great endorsement. Just sort of a pre-BIBA before May. The fact that you four gentlemen are obviously very close to sort of that community, see that it's in good health. And as you say, David, you're seeing signs of sort of continuing innovation, which obviously the broker community is well renowned for, and obviously providing products and program design which meets the changing needs of customers. So I think that's really, really positive. Okay, so look, a couple of things just to sort of close on, really. The first one, which does sound a little bit self-indulgent, but I'm not going to let you guys off the hook. All right, so before I come to connecting with you, can you just share, if I come to you first, Richard, how does the MGAA membership assist you when you're sort of executing your business strategy? As I say, no apologies for being self-indulgent, but there you go.
That's fine. I think it gives us a lot of credibility, actually. I mean, we put the MGAA logo on the footer of all our emails to let brokers know we are a member of the MGAA. It just it lets them know that we're part of a professional organisation. So it helps us in that sense. But for ourselves, it helps with education. We meet industry peers through various different MGA events. We're made aware of regulatory guidance and other industry developments that are happening that help us remain competitive and well informed in the changing market. Because without that central organisation, I think we'd feel a bit lonely, really, in the market if we weren't a member of the club, as it were, that helps us out in various situations. So it's all good.
Okay, thank you. Andy?
Very similar, really. I think it's access to the community. I think what you guys do really well for a founder-led business like myself, we are small. We're writing tens of millions as opposed to hundreds of millions. What it allows me to do is stand in a room and have just sort of open conversations with like-minded businesses, might be going through the same sort of evolutions as we are, might be ahead of there, might be behind it. And it just allows us to share insights, really, for my own benefit. And hope, sometimes you leave and go, okay, things aren't as bad as they were when I first walked in. Or you might come away and think things are better. I really like that. I think the events you put on really help, and obviously being a member of it, and we like sponsoring some of these and working with you guys. That's the real value sort of I get out of it myself. As a company, I think very similar to what Richard's saying. It's the educational piece, allowing the staff to experience different seminars and just really giving our marketplace a voice. I think that works a lot. And also, you can be quite insulated in your own space, and contractor liability is ours, UK and Irish market. What's nice to come along to these events is see someone in an MGA in a completely different sector, maybe going through the same things, or just seeing something that you wouldn't normally get to, because we're all busy focusing on what we need to do. What I like at these events is you can take time out just to get a view on what's going on elsewhere.
Okay, fantastic. And David?
Well, as a partner, the MGA links us to a wide variety of firms needing our help broadly, and we get good value out of it. It helps us in our role in creating opportunity for people, sharing knowledge with firms that are using our services, and to be frank, with anybody. We'll talk with anybody in the MGA and have always been perfectly willing to do so. And that leads to us building well-run and successful firms, which is why we founded. Well, I founded the business 14 years ago. So yeah, the MGA is a good partner. We have various. We've got the Lloyd's logo and we've got the MGA logo and so on. But yeah, no, the MGA does provide us with significant value, which is why we're sponsoring this year.
Thank you. And finally, John, from quite interesting from your side as well. It'd be quite interesting your insight.
Yeah, bit of a mixture of everybody's reasons really. So I guess you got the community, which we're working with a lot of members already, whether they're suppliers, insurers, or MGAs. So that's great that we can kind of meet them all in one place, or hear about issues impacting on them, and then that kind of leads on to the what Richard and Andy were saying about the insights into what's happening in the market, what are the issues that are coming down the tracks for you guys, because we're in our little accounting transaction bubble sometimes, and then there's something coming across which is a regulatory change, particularly on that kind of conduct side, or a commercial change that we haven't necessarily heard about that will impact on our clients that we can then take into account when we're talking to them. So it's sort of meeting people and that insight into what's going on at a kind of granular level, super helpful for us.
Greatly appreciate the feedback. Thank you very much. Okay, so the real sort of $64,000 final question before we close, and I'll come to you first, David. So first and foremost, and most importantly, how can anyone, delegate or whoever at BIBA, connect with you at the event?
Oh, well, okay. Well, we're co-sponsoring the drinks with John, and therefore we will be there. We're going to put a little sign up so you can find us. So please do come along and just have a drink with us and have a chat. We going with your theme of having newbies there. We've got a couple of new members of the team who are going to be on site as well. So please do come and talk with them. If you need to get in touch for a more substantive discussion, drop us an email. Go to our website. Book a slot with us. We've taken a private room 2 minutes from the conference centre. Obviously, if you've got a new and innovative idea, you don't really want to be stood at a stand. We have done that in the past, but it's not exactly helpful. And we're always hanging around the MGAA stand on and off throughout the day. But just drop us a line, see us at the drinks, book a slot in our private room so you can have some privacy, discuss your idea, and we're more than happy to talk to you.
Fantastic. And Andy?
Right, first and foremost, we'll be on the stand. There'll be a few of us there. Come over and have a chat. We always feel that, really it's just an intro or log in an inquiry. The real follow-up comes after BIBA, I think, when you can follow up some of these chats and sum up what we spoke about. The main way to connect to us is this year with the theme of time to, and just trying to connect some of the new members of the team. A number of us have set some lap times on Mario Kart, and you're welcome to come by the stand and try and beat those lap times with some great prizes. I'm sure hopefully we'll get you on there, Mike. I don't know.
I'll give it a go.
I've had a go. Yeah, I think my car's still going round, but yeah, some of the guys have put some good lap times on, and it's just a bit of fun. Come over, have a chat, and yeah, if you walk away with a prize, that's great.
Excellent. And Richard?
Yeah, basically the main way will be come to the stand. There'll be 3 of us there. There'll be myself, underwriting director Kevin Hawkins, and our BDM John Gleave will be there. We'll be kind of rotating on the stand throughout the day, so it's not too crowded there. I think normally at BIBA there'll be all brokers will have access to an app which will show the delegates so you can contact us before BIBA and pre-book meetings with us as well via the app. And we'll be at the drinks on Wednesday afternoon, evening as well.
Fantastic. And finally, John?
Yeah, well, we'll definitely be at the drinks as well. So come to that, everybody. Our marketing guys, I'm just reading it. We've been doing some stuff on LinkedIn, so keep an eye on that. We've got an email which is events@pkf-l.com if you want to drop a line just generically to the team, and come and see us at the stand. There's C83 is our stand. I think it's towards the back somewhere in the middle. But I'll be wandering around with a bunch of the team, so just come and grab us.
Okay, so I'll bring that to a close. John, Andy, Richard and David, thank you again very much for partnering with the MGAA and for your contribution. Very, very much appreciated. Secondly, thanks for sharing your comments, your observations about the business and about the broker community today. Very, very insightful. And thirdly, look forward to seeing you all the second week in May in Manchester. Thanks very much indeed.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks.
See you then.
Thank you.
See you later.
Thank you very much for listening. The MGAA welcomes all feedback on all our episodes, so please get in touch. Please get in touch with any suggestions on topics or new guests. And don't forget to subscribe on your chosen platform so you don't miss out on any of our future exciting episodes.